line in America.
We're going to classify this as a mass casualty incident.
Train cars on their side, flipping while going around a curve, turned into heaps of mangled metal and shattered glass.
The train tilted over and rolled.
Emergency crews frantically searching for survivors, at least 5 dead and hundreds injured.
It is an absolute disastrous mess.
Victims carried to safety, treated on the tracks, and crawling out of the wreckage.
Crawl forward, sir.
Video still coming in from inside the train. Investigators on the scene right now. What caused this horrific crash? World News anchor David Muir leads our team coverage this morning.
From ABC News, with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Lara Spencer, live in Times Square. This is Good Morning America.
And Good Morning America. Let's get right to that breaking news. Take a look at the devastation this morning. There it is right there in Philadelphia. The train was headed from Washington to New York. Busiest line in America, just around 9:30 last night, 5 miles out of Philadelphia. All 7 cars, including the engine, came off the track. 3 of the cars, you see one right there, toppled on their side, one nearly upside down on its roof.
There were 243 people on board, including 5 crew members. About 200 have been taken to the hospital. Hundreds of emergency responders on the scene right now, firefighters, police officers, and federal investigators, including the FBI. Amtrak service between New York and Philadelphia is shut down this morning. We have full team coverage. World News Tonight anchor David Muir leading our coverage and starts us off from the scene. David?
Robin and George, good morning. An incredible scene of destruction here in the overnight hours. You can see behind me the fire crews, the rescue crews still here on the scene. One of the busiest rail lines in the country from Washington to Philadelphia up to New York. There were so many people injured. They were using vans to get them to nearby hospitals, and we heard from the passengers who were using the lights on their iPhones, their smartphones, to find their way out of the darkness.
Overnight, the frantic search for passengers. You can see the flashlights as search and rescue teams surround the cars that came off the track. Incredible scenes of destruction along America's busiest rail line.
The train tilted over and rolled.
9:28 Eastern, the first emergency call. The New York City-bound Amtrak train starting in Washington, D.C., taking off at 7:10 p.m. 238 passengers, 5 crew members on board, derailing in the Port Richmond section of Philadelphia.
One train's dead, looks like it's completely in pieces.
Almost immediately, the images of the wounded, bloodied but able to walk away from the crash. Some crawling through emergency windows, others climbing through the roof of the train. From above, you can see the scope of the wreckage, the train reduced to twisted metal, shattered glass. Its engine detached, 3 cars on their sides, 1 flipped over, 7 cars in all off the track.
I heard it like a big bang.
And this morning, from inside the train, images capturing the chaos and the fear. Passengers trying to escape, describing the luggage that had been flying over their heads before those cars came to a screeching halt.
Keep crawling, okay? Crawl forward, sir.
Shut down the entire northeast corridor. We have a major event here. We have people on the track and a couple of cars overturned.
First responders rushing to the scene, pulling out passengers who were still trapped in the overturned cars.
It happened in seconds.
More than 100 passengers sent to area hospitals, so many they were using vans and buses to drive the injured to the hospital. First responders still searching this morning, still unable to say whether everyone is accounted for. Former Congressman Patrick Murphy, who was on the train capturing these images, passengers pulling themselves up from the floor.
Human nature kicks in, so there was people who were, they didn't care about anyone else. They were getting off that train, so stepping over people. The guy next to me was unconscious, so I kind of slapped him a little bit and got him up, and then he was, believe it or not, okay.
Overnight here, the mayor of Philadelphia on the scene describing the horror, unlike anything he's ever seen.
It is an absolute disastrous mess.
This morning, the recovery effort pushing forward as federal investigators now arrive on the scene to determine what caused this deadly crash.
Authorities here on the scene now telling us the death toll now up to 6, and again, they have not accounted for everyone on this train. And keep in mind, it's unlike a plane. You don't have an assigned seat, you just have a ticket. You go on and you sit where you want, which is why it's so difficult to make sure they know that everyone's been accounted for. And one other thing is you don't stow your luggage, you just put it above you, which is why so many of the passengers are describing that luggage flying through midair, passengers flying too. One woman telling me she could feel passengers bumping up into her until that train came to a halt, the cars flipping onto their side. side. And of course, we'll have much more here from the scene in just a couple of moments. George, back to you.
Thanks, David. We're joined now by two of the survivors, Beth Davids and Paul Chung. Thank you both for joining us this morning. Beth, I can see you're a little banged up there. I hope you're feeling okay. Tell us what happened.
So, I mean, I take this trip between Philly and New York pretty often. I mean, at first it was just a regular ride. I was on the phone. I hung out with my friend. About that time, it felt like we were taking just like a wide turn to the right. And then like it just like started to like roll over, and it was just dark, and you could just like there's just bodies and seats and everything kind of falling around me. And I mean, it was like kind of that slow motion moment. I was in the third car and it actually tipped to the side, so the only way to get up was actually up through the side, which was the roof. And then the car started to fill up with smoke. So I mean, I remember someone saying very calmly, you know, we need to get out of this car. So we climbed up to the seats as a ladder. So we had to actually slide off the side of the car, which is like a good 8 feet.
Paul, let me ask you, I mean, it seemed to happen in slow motion. You first felt the shakes, and then everything went haywire.
Yeah, I was at the back of the train, and again, similar to Beth's story, I was playing around with my phone, you know, streaming Netflix, and suddenly, you know, the car, as if someone had slammed the brake, and suddenly everything started shaking really hard, and the whole train went dark. And then I saw some passenger also escaping from the window.
Beth, this must have been the most horrifying thing you've ever been through, but it also seemed like people kept their heads about them.
You just want to hug the other survivors next to you, to wanting to help people, to just connecting with others, to like just thinking about the logistics of like, I don't have a wallet right now, I don't have a shoe.
A lot of the passengers were very brave. You know, they came out very collected.
Yeah.
You know, while in shock, you know, everything happened really orderly. It wasn't a massive chaos.
We're glad you're both okay right now. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ah, I can't believe. Yeah.
And, you know, we saw them hugging right there. Paul and Beth weren't traveling together, but they actually did used to work together at the Associated Press. We're glad they're both okay.
Have a hug like that. Musician Yamin Allworld was in the fourth car. He captured video helping people off that train, and he joined us just a short time ago. Please tell us how you're doing this morning.
Yes, I had some minor injuries to my leg, actually.
And can you tell us, Yamin, what happened? What did you see? What did you feel? What did you hear?
It just felt like our car was leaving the ground. I started floating in the air, and I just felt my body lifting up and going forward over seats and started toppling.
And when did help arrive, and how did you get out?
We could see fairly well. I turned the light on my cell phone so that we could see better, and we checked on other people. There was a lady stuck in between a chair, so we helped her out. You know, I was close to the front of the car, so we just walked towards the door, and I just held the light up so people could see and get out.
And you were posting videos, and we heard in your videos, Yamin, you helping people and just doing anything that you could. Many people would like to think that they would act the same way in a situation like that. Was it just an instinct that kicked in with you?
Yes, I didn't have to think twice about it. It was just, you know, I was there, I was an able body, and so I was just trying to do what I could to help people.
I know that you MC for Questlove, and he sent out a really nice tweet about you overnight. He said, thank God that you are here to literally see another year. Today is your birthday?
Yes, yes. Today is my birthday, yes.
And I know that you're feeling very, very grateful this morning, aren't you?
Yes, I'm so grateful, yes.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. I know you and others, and ourselves included, are thinking of those who were not as fortunate. But thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you. You take care.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. God bless everyone.
God bless. Peace.
Peace.
About 200 people were treated at nearby hospitals, and let's go to ABC's David Wright at Temple University Hospital. David, dozens of victims taken there, some of them in critical condition this morning, David.
Good morning, Robin. This is one of the few level 1 trauma centers in Philadelphia, so it was here that some of the most critical cases came. 54 patients transported to this one hospital alone, many of them just minor cuts and scrapes, but 8 critical cases, and 1 person died here overnight. This, one of 5 local hospitals to see wounded. This accident 3 mass casualty incident, which means basically that there were too many casualties for any one hospital to handle. In this case, 150 plus. Robin, that's more than half the train.
It is. All right, David, thank you. And we're going to go back to the scene now. David Muir is there with David Curley, who covers transportation for us. David?
And Robin, as you know, we've now learned 6 dead from this, 5 here at the scene, 1 later at the hospital. And you and I were talking that many of these injuries are severe chest injuries. The next logical question is going to be, how fast was that train going? The federal investigators here on the scene this morning.
They're coming. Speed is one of the factors. And you and I were able to get around and actually see one of these mangled cars. And even though they are damaged severely, these investigators will learn a lot about what happened to this train.
One train that looks like it's completely in pieces.
The train derailed and broke apart on a corner with a reported speed limit of 55 miles an hour. The pictures tell the story. The engine and all 7 cars jumped the tracks.
We have train cars that are completely overturned on their side, ripped apart, and the engine completely separated from the rest of the train.
The engine and 2 cars landing upright, 3 on their side, 1 nearly on its roof. This electric locomotive is high-tech, just a year old. It can reach up to 125 miles per hour. Investigators will look at that engine, the cars, the track. A report 2 years ago said rails for Amtrak trains are in desperate need of repair. Investigators will also be looking at the curve the train was negotiating. This is where the train was supposed to go, but this is where it ended up, the cars in pieces.
They've been destroyed completely. The aluminum shell has been destroyed, and they've been overturned completely.
Despite all this destruction, crash investigators will find clues in the mess to tell us why Amtrak train 188 jumped the rails as it was leaving Philadelphia.
And you know, you talk to the people who live here in Philadelphia and they can't believe this happened right here in their backyard, but they'll also remind you there was another train accident right here more than 70 years ago.
More than 70 years ago, different circumstances. We think it was a problem with the car and it jumped and nearly 80 people were killed in that accident. Seems to be a coincidence that it happened in the same place. A lot more to learn from the investigators. NTSB on their way right now.
All right, you'll be with me here for World News Tonight. Until then, we'll send it back to George.
Okay, guys, thanks. Let's get more on this now from Deborah Hersman, the former chair of the NTSB, now president of the National Safety Council. Deborah, tell us what this go-to team, the NTSB go-to team, is going to do right now.
The daylight is really helpful for them. They're going to be securing the scene, gathering any perishable evidence, and doing a lot of documentation. But key to the team is going to be grabbing those recorders right away. They've got event recorders and also video recorders on many trains, and so they'll be looking at those very closely.
What exactly can they learn from those black boxes?
So the black boxes will tell them things like speed, throttle position, braking, but also there are often inward and outward facing video cameras that will tell them a lot of information about the track conditions and the environmental conditions. And they will be looking at every train that came through earlier to see if they had any trouble reports coming through that same section of track.
And as David said, there has been some concern about these tracks needing a lot of repairs.
You know, I will tell you, our infrastructure when it comes to transportation is critical, whether it's highways or rails or our airports. We have to invest in our infrastructure to make sure that it's in good repair and that it's going to last us.
How about the possibility of human error? What's it going to take to rule that in or out?
Well, they'll be looking very closely at the human, the machine, and the environment. And so those recorders will tell them about the operating conditions at the time. But they'll also be looking to interview those crew members, particularly the locomotive engineer, who's generally alone in the cab operating. They'll want to talk to that person as soon as possible. Okay,
Deborah Hersman, thanks very much. The FBI also on the scene this morning, Homeland Security involved as well. Let's go to Pierre Thomas for more on that. Any indication, Pierre, of foul play?
Not so far, George. Transportation investigators are the lead, but the FBI has sent agents to the scene and stands ready to assist as needed. Sources say there's no evidence of foul play and it looks like an accident, but they admit it's too early to know what caused this catastrophic event. Given the scale of the derailment and loss of life, authorities want to know what this is as quickly as possible. Sources say it's routine for the FBI to be at a transportation disaster, but there's a sense of urgency to find out the basics of what caused this terrible incident. George?
So much more work to be done. Okay, Pierre, thanks very much. Now let's get today's other top stories from Amy, starting with that U.S. military helicopter missing in Nepal.
That's right, and the search is now expanding for that missing Marine Corps helicopter. Last seen conducting an aid mission in Nepal just hours after another massive earthquake killed dozens of people in that country. 6 Marines were on board the helicopter, which was one of 3 that were deployed to Nepal after the earthquake. American and Nepalese military are in the air and on the ground this morning, but searches have been unable to locate the helicopter's emergency beacon. And a breaking story from North Korea overnight. The country's top defense official has reportedly been executed because he fell asleep during a meeting. South Korea's intelligence agency says the general was also accused of treason for not carrying out leader Kim Jong-un's instructions. A political setback for President Obama, courtesy of his own party. Senate Democrats have blocked debate on his Pacific trade deal. They are demanding more protections for American workers. And racial anger is again spilling out onto the streets of an American city, this time Madison, Wisconsin, after white police officer Matt Kenney was cleared of all charges in the shooting death of unarmed teenager Tony Robinson. Prosecutors say Kenney used lawful force during a struggle. Robinson's family has called for peaceful demonstrations. And the group looking to replace Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill with a woman has now chosen a successor. Abolitionist Harriet Tubman won an online vote. The group now hopes the 600,000 people who voted will help pressure the president to make the change. And finally, did you hear the one about the seal who walked into the fish market? Well, it's no joke. It actually happened in Oregon. The hungry seal, he was no fool, jumped onto the dock, stumbled into this fish store looking for free food. Then it made off with a bag that had fallen. Ah, his lucky catch, right? Not so much, because there was fruit inside. And when the seal finally realized it, said, no thank you, dropped the bag, and jumped right back into the harbor looking for actual fish that he could catch.
Al Capone robbed banks because that's where the money is,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
I'm sure there was at least some Swedish fish right there on the counter.
It had to be. Hey, thank you for that, Amy. Back from the tornado zone, but still some problems there in Texas.
Yeah, Texas can't catch a break, and now it's flash flooding that's happening across the Houston area. This is Webster, Texas, where you can see the rainfall is up and over the hoods of these cars, and now video coming in from Houston showing people walking through it, wading through it, knee and waist deep in some spots. 6 to 8 inches of rainfall just really falling in the last 6 to 10 hours. In some spots of Texas have already seen over a foot of rain, so flash flood watches remain pretty much for the entire state. Your local forecast is upcoming. At first, your rainy cities, brought to you by Eggo Sandwiches.
What's going on? Toaster's broken. Which means no Eggo waffles.
What's that sound?
Did you leave your hairdryer running? No. Something smells delicious.
How can something smell delicious when the toaster's broken?
I smell sausage, egg, cheese, and Eggo. Lego my Eggo breakfast sandwich.
The Eggo breakfast sandwich.
But the toaster's broken.
It's sweet, it's savory, it's in your microwave.
Lego my Eggo breakfast sandwich.
Good morning, Washington. More seasonable air has finally arrived here in D.C. We're expecting temperatures in the lower 70s today. More sunshine than clouds this afternoon, but it's going to be kind of a gusty one. For tonight, we're going to drop down in the 40s in the suburbs, mainly clear with around 50 degrees inside the Beltway. Tomorrow, we'll lose the wind a little bit more and feeling comfortable with about 72 degrees. The drier conditions will last through the rest of the work week, but higher temperatures, more humidity, and a few thunderstorms this weekend.
Summer heat across the Northeast, much cooler today. More on that throughout the broadcast.
And before the Twitter starts, I mixed up my gangsters.
Oh,
it
you
was
did?
Willie Sutton, not Al
Capone. Willie Sutton. That's going deep.
Coming up on GMA, new details about the Deflategate scandal. The man behind that bombshell report striking back at Tom Brady's agent this morning.
Also had a terrifying home invasion caught on camera. 2 men with knives trying to break down a door. A family with a baby on the other side.
And take a look at Ginger this morning. There she is in our hidden world, getting ready for our live event. That is underground, thousands of miles away. She had to trek for days deep into the jungle mountains to get there. And she is taking her drones where no live television cameras have ever gone before. So the live television event, it's not saying too much to say it's millions of years in the making, and you're not going to want to miss it.
We need more money. They say change is gonna come.
I can't find my Discover card. Wait, I can freeze my account.
Introducing Freeze It from Discover. It allows you to prevent new purchases on your account in seconds if your card is misplaced.
Not here.
And once you find your card, you can switch it right on again.
Hey, you're back.
Freeze It, only from Discover. Get it at discover.com.
Capri Sun. No high fructose corn syrup and no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. Those are your rules.
There's 5 people who are it.
Their rules?
Gotta hit the target.
Let them figure them out.
I found 10th base.
Capri Sun. Push play.
Can a bra really be age-defying?
Enhancing Shape by Soma, the age-defying t-shirt bra with top-shaping pad technology that eliminates gaps.
For a beautiful shape at any age.
Enhancing Shape at Soma and Soma.com.
Take skincare to the next level with Rock Multi-Correction 5-in-1. Proven to hydrate dryness, eliminate dullness, lift sagging, diminish the look of dark spots, and smooth the appearance of wrinkles. High-performance skincare only from Rock.
My feet felt so heavy at the end of the day.
They used to get really tired.
Until I started gelling.
I got Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles.
When they're in my shoes, my feet and legs feel less tired.
It's like walking on a wave.
Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles.
I'm a believer. My school reunion. I don't know.
Who wants to play in Idaho?
Gotta get Milwaukee up to speed.
We win in Flint. We take the lead.
We'll close the deal if we just show.
Should I stay or should I go?
When it's go to the new ChoiceHotels.com, the site with the right room, rewards, and savings up to 20% when you book direct. ChoiceHotels.com.
Shopping for a used car is
So intimidating. I mean, you feel like you have to be this
expert negotiator to get a fair deal. I
hate to haggle. When you
go to a restaurant, you don't
haggle over the chicken
Parmesan. Why can't car buying
be like that?
As long as people drive cars, CarMax will be the best way to buy them.
People with type 2 diabetes come from all walks of life. If you have high blood sugar, ask your doctor about Farxiga. It's a different kind of medicine that works by removing some sugar from your body. Along with diet and exercise, Farxiga helps lower blood sugar in adults with type 2 diabetes. With 1 pill a day, Farxiga helps lower your A1C. And although it's not a weight loss or blood pressure drug, Farxiga may help you lose weight and may even lower blood pressure when used with certain diabetes medicines. Do not take if allergic to Farxiga or its ingredients. Symptoms of a serious allergic reaction include rash, swelling, or difficulty breathing or swallowing. If you have any of these symptoms, stop taking Farxiga and seek medical help right away. Do not take Farxiga if you have severe kidney problems, are on dialysis, or have bladder cancer. Tell your doctor right away if you have blood or red color in your urine or pain while you urinate. Farxiga can cause serious side effects including dehydration, genital yeast infections in women and men, low blood sugar, kidney problems, and increased bad cholesterol. Common side effects include urinary tract infections, changes in urination, and runny nose. Need to lower your blood sugar? Ask your doctor about Farxiga. And visit our website to learn how you may be able to get every month free.
Hurry in to Ashley Furniture Home Store for the Mega Mattress event going on this week. Take advantage of our longest finance offer ever. No interest for 80 months on Tempur-Pedic, Beauty Rest World Class, iComfort, and Stearns & Foster. Hurry in. Ashley Furniture Home Store. This is home.
Marlowe Furniture's Memorial Day sale. 50% savings off comparable prices, plus free delivery. Or 48 months, no interest financing. Your style, your choice.
Bring your style to life at Marlowe.
Experience world-class education with Nova Online. With monthly start dates and 8-week classes, neither your career nor your family take a back seat. We offer over 400 courses identical in content to Nova's on-campus programs. No matter where you are, you can pursue one of over 40 associate's degrees and certificates. And you can leverage Nova's partnerships to earn an online bachelor's degree faster and at lower cost. Don't put off a brighter future. Visit us at eli.nvcc.edu.
This is amazing.
I love this car.
Real people are discovering surprising things at Chevy.
This is a road trip car.
We're sold.
It's so pretty.
They're good-looking cars.
It feels great.
Perfect.
This is not what I would expect from a Chevy at all.
Get more than you expect for less than you imagined at the Chevy Memorial Day sale going on now. Get cash back for 15% of the MSRP on select 2015 models in stock the longest. That's almost $3,700 on this Chevy Malibu. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
You make the decision to buy the home, then you're faced with what's next? What do we do?
We started at Realtor.com.
Realtor.com gave us a lot more current information.
Listings are pulled directly from the MLS every 15 minutes.
See, this one just updated. Once you've gone through all of that, the realtor makes it happen.
We worked with the realtor that really knew the area.
And he knew the market.
When you have someone who has the expertise, it makes it so much easier.
Realtor.com and Realtors. Together, we make home happen.
Know what's so great about Marlowe Furniture's Memorial Day sale? The prices. Same great furniture, only much lower prices and free delivery. Marlowe's Memorial Day sale. Come on by and catch us with our prices down.
Now, Good Morning Washington on your side. We begin with a breaking news alert.
And that breaking news this morning, NTSB investigators are headed to the scene of that deadly train derailment in Philadelphia. 6 people now confirmed dead. That's one more than was reported earlier. Amtrak train 188 left D.C.'s Union Station around 7:10 last night. The train was headed to New York when it derailed shortly after 9 o'clock. Besides those kills, dozens of people are injured this morning, 6 critically. It's still unclear what caused that derailment. Well, if you are worried about friends or family members, you can call Amtrak's hotline for information. That number is 1-800-523-9101. Right now, we want to switch gears and get a check of the forecast for today. Meteorologist Jackie Jarris standing by with a look at that. Hey, Jackie.
Hey, Jumi. It's a much cooler start here this morning. 64 degrees is our current temperature. And notice the breeze. We've got winds out of the north-northwest at 14 miles per hour. Our dew point is down there into the 40s. It's feeling a lot more comfortable across the region. Our forecast high temperatures today are going to be making it into the lower 70s across the region, but I do think some of our suburbs are going to stay into the upper 60s for today. We'll stay dry for the rest of the work week. Angela?
On the roads right now, volume delays through Prince George's County on the outer loop as you head up from Lanham, and of course through Silver Spring we've got volume delays. Also the closures in Silver Spring. For folks traveling on Kemp Mill Road near Glen Allen Road, we are still shut down. We've also got a crash 4 corners. Southbound 29 at University Boulevard. You'll lose a lane with that closure. On our traffic lane cameras, a live look at the Beltway through Tyson's Corner, where we're actually moving pretty nicely, but delays eastbound on 66 near the Prince William Parkway. Jumi, back to you.
Okay, Angela, thank you. And we want to thank you for watching this morning. For more on our breaking news, head over to Good Morning Washington live on News Channel 8. We will see you back here for another update in 25 minutes.
For a limited time, Long Roofing presents free gutters with every roof replacement. Call now, 800-492-LONG.
We've been thinking, a pitcher who can paint the corners is known as a Rembrandt. Who doesn't love that kind of precision? At GMC, we get that. Not everyone can deliver a 95-mile-an-hour Rembrandt. This is precision. This is GMC. Now during the GMC Spring Sales Event, get over $10,000 total value on specially equipped 2015 Sierra SLE models in stock the longest. Welcome to the show.
What defines a great nurse? The power of a Stratford University education. Stratford University helped me transfer both my military and college credits. Being a working mother, Stratford also helped me structure my education around my family's needs. Stratford's intensive program made me the nurse I am today. An education was what I needed. A life-changing profession was what I got, thanks to Stratford University.
Change your life today at stratford.edu/nurse.
For a limited time, Long Roofing presents free gutters with every roof replacement. Call now, 800-492-LONG.